Coming here is always a highlight of my year, and then to leave here as a winner twice is pretty unbelievable. First tournament I ever went to was here, and just have such incredible memories outside of golf here with my kids and my family being here. So, I'm really proud to have won this tournament because I think Travelers does as good of a job as any tournament that I play across the world.
And coming off U.S. Open, just got done with your Pro-Am. How are you feeling with your game, and what are you seeing from the course?
Yeah, the course is in incredible shape. It's a nice shift from the U.S. Open of where we're sort of hanging on for dear life there, and then you come here and you make some birdies. But there's still a lot of really challenging shots that you have to hit. But they create such an incredible atmosphere at this tournament for us players and our families. So it's really a treat to come back.
I wanted to ask about the U.S. Open and, some of the crowd behavior that became an issue out of that, particularly toward Wyndham. I know the crowds here have a certain reputation for obviously being kind of the opposite of that. But I was just wondering if you had some thoughts on that, on whether, the impact on golf and just that whole situation.
Yeah, well, I think that golf is in the process of, turning into it's leaving just the golf world where people are coming to tournaments that are sports fans, and that's how people in New York cheer on the Knicks or the Giants or whatever, and they're coming to tournaments and they're sports fans and they're golfers. But I think that we're entering a time where the game is really growing in popularity, and I think people are coming to golf tournaments to have a good time. I found it a little surprising considering Wyndham's American at the U.S. Open, but Scotty Scheffler is a really popular player going for the Grand Slam, and unfortunate, but hey, Wyndham won, so he handled it really well, and I think it's just we're in an interesting time here where golf is really taking off, and we're seeing a different group of people coming to these tournaments.
Yeah, Keegan, could you also comment about some of the things that Brian Rolapp was able to announce here earlier this week as far as the Championship Series, Challenger Series, and how you think, whatever your thoughts are on that. And then second, within that conversation, he said potentially taking the Tour Championship to other venues, other places and such. I don't know if Queechee or the Woodstock Inn golf course is probably going to be on that list, but what are some of the venues in New England that you think it would be really cool to go back to? Obviously, TPC Boston's been bantered around, but some other places that could be really unique and can showcase the golf in this region generally.
Well, I think that this stuff Brian announced is sort of what we've been hearing, confirmed what we're going to do. It's going to be just extremely competitive. Golf has always been a sport where you have to earn what you get. And this is going to become even more so with that. You're going to see players that are, top players that, I think a lot of the Europeans that don't get to play a full schedule out here where they're playing 14, 15 events because of their, they better play some solid golf in those because the consequences now are extreme. You're going from playing the biggest tournaments in the world to, you're not in them, which is going to be really, really intense. And I think, the membership is very aware of that. And, golf is now even more so becoming a result-oriented sport. You can't rely on, I had a good year 2 years ago. You got to prove it every year, which I think is great. And, for me, I think the country club is our crown jewel. And I really love the idea of going to these unique places and, maybe having it be more of like a U.S. amateur feel where there's people walking in the fairways. And I think the country club is just one of the most spectacular venues in the world. And I think to have the best players in the world play there and to play in New England in that time of year, I think we should have a whole New England swing. But, the country club is the one that comes to mind for me.
It seemed a little bit odd over the last couple of seasons that the PGA Tour hasn't been in New York, Boston, or Chicago, which are enormous markets in big golf regions.
Yeah, I just very strange. I think if you spoke to everybody, every one of the membership, they would all sort of agree that this is the best place to play golf for us, especially as the end of the summer, into the fall. And who knows how the schedule is going to evolve, and maybe there will be a swing in the Northeast. But I think it's really important that we play golf courses like the country club, like the golf courses all over New York, all over Philadelphia. Like this is how I grew up playing courses, tree line, rough, and I think that they're great for tournament venues.